What's up, Samurai? We are back some more Trove. Excuse me that this video is a little bit late. I'm trying to turn my sleep schedule around, so I'm actually staying up a lot later, which means that I'm sleeping in, because tomorrow we've got Mario RPG Remake, which I'm extremely excited for, seriously. I hope you guys can come out to that. I'll try to have a scheduled stream today so that you guys can see in your time zone when it's going to end up being. But anyways, I digress. We've got the Friendsgiving event going on in Trove for a couple weeks, and this is a good one you won't want to miss, specifically because there are 2 new tomes that are game changing that just randomly were thrown into this event. So I'll have another video that's going to highlight that today. I'm also going to end up having a video showing the new costumes from the Curio merchant, because he's actually got some costumes and I want to get those out in a timely manner to you guys. However, I did want to mention that there's a couple other things I do have to cover, like the Arcanium Triumph Pack and some other things. Those I'm going to unfortunately delay to tomorrow, just so that I have time to actually get all these edited, and I have a lot of other stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes. But let's get started with the event. So first and foremost, it wants you to meet with Chefsley. So he's just gonna chill over here. This is gonna be where the brunt of all of your stuff is going to end up being. And then over there is going to end up being the daily quest, which I don't want to get too ahead of myself. One thing I do want to mention before we start with this part of the quest though, is there are certain things that you can do out of sequence with this event that you don't want to do, because otherwise you'll be forced to wait until the following daily reset in order to actually complete the event. So what I would suggest is don't touch anything until the quest line actually has you doing it, okay? So just a heads up. So anyways, you just interact with Chefsley, you'll get a Trovian Bolian. Let's call it a Bolin, because I don't know what that is. And then he wants you to craft a Trovian Bolin. So I think that's at the Friendsgiving Event. Yeah, right here. So you'll see the item is right here. And it costs a whole bunch of different food items. Now, you can, of course, buy a lot of these food items on the player market, but if you really, really want to, you can buy them from this guy. They're fairly expensive, but this is still cheaper than you would expect. Like, some players actually put these prices way too high up. I don't even know why the vegetable sink is here. Don't be tricked, because most of these resources you don't actually want washed. You want to have them raw. Now, the other thing too is obviously you could get all of these out of gardening for a lot cheaper, but since gardening 2.0 is so extremely time gated, it's just like, I couldn't be bothered. So anyway, you craft the box and then you'll end up getting a 3-house turkey. So that's going to end up being a food item, whatever. Next, it wants you to cook any Friendsgiving food. So next category in the oven, there's these, and these are actually really, really good passive buffs. I don't know anyone who would want to actually have most of these, but I'll just hover over them and you can end up pausing the video if you want to, just to say that these are really, really good, just because they actually give a significant amount of light as well as the other stats. Anyways, cook any of the food, you'll end up gaining Friendsgiving coin. Then it wants you to grab a bite of food. That's what all of these are. So this is one thing that you could do out of sequence. You could rush over here. You could start eating all of these. And these are tied to a daily reset. So if you ate all of this food before doing the event, then you would have to just wait for the next day. You do want to log in every day and grab all the bites of food though, because as you can see, it's actually giving us a significant amount of XP. As far as I know, it is affected by double XP, potions, daily, whatever, you know, it's a decent amount of XP to go over here and grab, just because why not? Anyways, you just eat any of the food and you'll end up gaining a Friendsgiving coin. And then next there's going to end up being complete Friendsgiving dailies. So as you've progressed this far, you'll eventually end up having the dailies show up over here. There should only be 3 of them that'll show up, with the additional 3 showing up afterwards in the event. So there's complete 15 dungeons, complete 3-star dungeons, and then this one, which is collect organics from geode caves. Now, if you end up just going over to the geode sanctuary, this is an aspect of the game that you might not have touched. You could either go into delves, and then harvesting all of the plants inside the delves is going to end up counting towards this. Otherwise, you'll have to get your hands dirty and go into any of these geode caves and start gathering some of the plants and stuff like that. That again is just one of the dailies, and you gotta complete 3 different dailies, and then you'll end up getting a Friendsgiving coin. And then you have to craft a Turkeytopia delve gateway. So you're gonna actually head back over here, and this Turkeytopia table right here that's kind of hidden away, kind of stuck between the NPC and stuff. This is where you'll end up crafting them. So there's a Turkeytopia delve and there's a Trotting Turkey delve. The Turkeytopia one is the one that you want. Okay. Anyways, you craft the portal, you get a Friendsgiving coin, and then you have to complete the delve. So I'll insert footage of what the delve looks like. You know, it's just a normal delve, whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. You complete the delve, you end up gaining another Friendsgiving coin, and then afterwards you have to defeat Shadow Gobblers. So Shadow Gobblers are specifically going to end up spawning in Dragonfire Peaks. I'll see if I can end up finding some for you guys. They basically just spawn at complete random, but they can end up giving you a slew of different items that are going to be very, very important, just because, again, you are going to be able to get that new tome out of it. Oh my god, what is this generation? Chunker, let's get it. Oh, it's because it's the dungeon. So yeah, the way that these enemies spawn is kind of weird, but if I zoom the map in and you see that neon biome right there, so basically all of these fire icons here each count as a different chunk. It's just kind of how Trove generates. And the only reason I'm pointing that out is because sometimes you'll have chunks that'll spawn normal enemies in the Dragonfire. Sometimes you'll have chunks that'll spawn these turkey enemies. So you just gotta kind of keep moving from chunk to chunk and hope that you end up having them generate. You see they kind of just pop in. It's a little awkward. They can end up dropping a Turkeytopia box, which will give you items from previous years. But then there's also going to end up being the new plume boxes, which we'll get into those in a minute. So you gotta defeat 15 of those gobblers. You're getting our friend's token. And then it wants you to defeat Shadow Gobbler Invaders. So Invaders have been replaced with Shadow Gobblers. So Invaders are when you're in an adventure world and you see them come down from the skies every 8 minutes. They are going to end up spawning an appropriate amount of invaders to the amount of players that are in the vicinity. So we'll get into it a little bit later in the video, but that's why you may have seen the term AFK Farms. So those are back in the game right now because there's kind of a way that you can almost manipulate the invaders to spawn a lot of them, and the items that they give are really substantial. So anyways, you just gotta wait for 3 shadow invaders. If you can join an AFK farm, that'll be your best bet. But doing it yourself, you know, is gonna kind of suck. Then it wants you to complete more Friendsgiving dailies. So that's where the other 3 quests will end up opening up. So there's gonna be this guy right here, which is earn a blast coin. So just go into Bomber Royale. You can also complete your legendary tome to get the tokens. This is defeat the Turkeytopia delve bosses. So you gotta go into another Turkeytopia delve, which, you know, not to be confused with the trotting turkey, and then kill enemy turkeys, which is just going to end up being the gobblers that we just fought. Invaders do count towards that quest, and then you'll end up getting the greatest gobbler, which is going to be this little ally that you can see right here around me. Let's see what his stats were. His stats are 200 light, not bad, 40 magic fine, and 2% crit hit. Greatest gobbler that ever gobbled. Okay, cool. And that's going to end up doing it for the actual event itself. Now, the reason why I keep saying how important this event is because, I mean, obviously, you know, there's all the previous event stuff that you can end up getting if you want to get all these different collectibles. You know, refer to my other Turkeytopia or Friendsgiving event guides to know when and where to get all of these. But generally speaking, they'll end up dropping out of these new plume boxes that can drop. And these boxes are insane. They drop a lot of garbage, but they can also drop the 2 new tomes. Now, let me show you guys this because these tomes are tradable, so you want to stock up. There is a Book of Bones, which is not a legendary tome. This is just a common tome, which means you can complete it over and over and over again. It drops 10 bleached bones when fully charged. That's huge. For those of you that don't know, bleached bone is one of the more difficult resources to farm an overabundance of. And there's a lot of things in the game that actually require this resource, especially, you know, we got the Necronomicon, the Castle Catastra area requires a lot of bones. It's crazy that we only are getting this now, but oh my god, this is huge. And then on top of that, not as valuable, but still very, very welcome, there's going to end up being the Meteoric Manual. So this one is going to end up giving you 3 meteorite fragments, which again is a very, very difficult resource to farm because you can't actually get these through gardening or anything like that in mass quantity. You have to actively go out of your way to farm them, but now you can just farm them passively. Now, you can end up, you know, spending your Friendsgiving tokens, your Trovian boons and stuff like that to end up getting these for well, they're still 100k each, but you can get them for cheaper than on the player market, because the player market, they're gonna be well over a mil, especially the bone one. The meteoric one, yeah, okay, that's not as bad because there's not much things that require meteoric fragments other than chaos chest items and stuff like that. But either way, those are very, very welcome items, and I actually really appreciate how this event is structured, because these Friendsgiving tokens, you would think are otherwise going to end up being something that you can only grind a limited amount per your daily, right? Well, actually, if you end up interacting with Chefsley, you can see that we can exchange our friend tokens for more plume chests, or you can exchange plume chests for more tokens, which means that, yes, you get a big chunk of these for your daily quests, but they're also not time gated, because you can just farm them to your heart's content, which is absolutely crazy. Now, if you end up doing the left slash bracket icon, whatever it is, it's on your keyboard. I don't know what it is on controller, but it'll end up opening up this cornerstone menu. The only reason I say that this is really important is because you might want to have a second cornerstone, because let me actually hop into an adventure world and show you guys the ideal type of cornerstone that you want to have, so that you can ultimately end up setting up your own invasion farms, if not just joining other people's. It's always good to have one of these cornerstones ready for AFK farms, because the whole point is that you might see a bunch of people basically all just chilling in someone's cornerstone that is going to end up being designed very similarly to the one I'm about to show you. And the reason for that is because, like I said, the equal amount of invaders will spawn for the amount of players that are nearby. So that's what the AFK farms are, is just players kind of just chilling down there waiting for the invaders to spawn every 8 minutes, so that you can get these plume boxes at a chance of getting more of those tradable tomes. Now, if I open this up right here, and hopefully if I can beat it. Oh, I have it open actually. Okay. So what you essentially want to do is you want to build your cornerstone up to skyblock, or at least very high up. But the most important thing is digging all the way down to the bedrock equivalent. I don't even know why I have that opening there. I guess I must have messed something up, or I don't know. But either way, the reason for this is because if you're this low, then the invaders have nowhere else to spawn, because the invaders are going to spawn appropriately to where the player's located. And if you're like up here, for example, and your cornerstone is just at normal ground level, it means that the enemies could spawn like over here or over here. Like they can spawn outside of your cornerstone. So this way it forces the way that they generate to just go straight down into here, right? So this cornerstone is a bit of a mess right now. I don't know why. But yeah, you might want to set up some stuff for people to have fun. Like I have all of this stuff set up for people to do fishing and junk. And it was a trick once upon a time that I don't think works anymore, where you would open up like the bottom layer of this and do generate your cornerstone near lava, so that the lava could pour into that opening into this location. And then the lava would essentially kill the invaders for you, so you didn't have to actively do anything. Now, Trove does not actually sway you away from using hotkeys, so you can use like an auto clicker or whatever to set up like intervals of clicking. They have actually commented about how that's not a problem. It's just if you set up like full-on macros, like the bots that you've seen in Trove, that of course is against terms of service and can get you banned. But I'm just saying that that is a thing. Anyways, that's going to basically do it. There is a lot of things out of the event that you can get right now, just because, you know, there's all of these other items from years and years and years of the Thanksgiving event. But generally speaking, what you're going to be highlighting is those tomes. You want to get as many of those as possible, just so that you can flip them afterwards for a significant sum, or just because you want them yourself, especially the bone tome. And you can get them pretty easily out of the plume boxes, given you have to have enough people. One thing I do want to point out is that next week apparently is going to end up being fast invasions. So even if you don't end up putting a significant amount of grind time towards the invasions this week, get on next week, because people are going to be going nuts with it, because the fast invasions makes the invaders spawn every 4 minutes instead of every 8 minutes. It basically cuts the time in half. But yeah, anyways, I got some other videos to set up for you guys. That's going to do it for me. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support this channel. Have a wonderful day, everybody.